Today on Monkey Life, a snip for one of the Simpsons as marmoset Bart gets a vasectomy.
It is fiddly, yes. That's the right adjective and the right description for this.
A muddy breakfast scrubs up well for the capuchins.
What's in there, look? Ooh. Can I have a look then?
And youngster Rieke looks to Silvestre for help when she can't figure out a challenging new feeder. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
You just never know how it's going to work.
The park provides a home for more than 260 primates from 24 different species. It's been just over 2 months since Alison answered an emergency call and headed up to Liverpool to rescue a family of 3 common marmosets. Their owner had died suddenly, and a concerned neighbour took them in until help could be found.
Hi, you.
The trio weren't in the best of health, but fast forward to today, and Maggie, Marge and Bart have been transformed.
The Simpsons are doing amazingly well since they've arrived here. They've really just completely changed 100%. And they're unrecognisable from the animals that came in, really. They're just a really nice, settled trio. They're so comfortable around each other and really happy around each other. They play constantly. Leaves, straw, anything that they can, that's kind of new to them, really. I think they just really love anything.
The park doesn't breed marmosets because space is at a premium. To prevent it happening, males who are fit enough are given a vasectomy. And today, it's Bart's turn.
He's obviously living with his mum and his sister. That's 2 females. He shouldn't breed with them, but that's not to say that he won't. So we just want to get this done as soon as possible. Now we know he's fit and healthy.
Local vet Cesar Sastre will carry out the operation. Bart is anaesthetised using a specially designed anaesthetic box for small primates. Once under, Cesar gives him a quick health check.
Oh, he's got a really nice condition, this animal, eh?
I know, they weren't when they got here, but they've really gotten a lot of muscle now.
Yeah, it's really great. Then we have a look in the mouth and then we go back to masking. Yeah, his teeth are perfect, very healthy, very good. Okay, all yours then.
Vasectomy is a fairly simple procedure involving the removal of a small piece of the tube connecting the testis to the urethra. But on an animal weighing only 300 grams, it can be very delicate.
It is fiddly, yes. That's the right adjective and the right description for this. It's very fiddly. It's 300 grams animal, so the deferens duct is really, really little. And yeah, it's fiddly, simply that, but you know, it's doable.
Luckily, Cesar has performed many of these operations before and has a steady hand. The tube he has to locate is minuscule and is in a bundle that also contains a nerve and blood supply.
Right, very good. So we've got the business here. That's fantastic. The first one is there. So this is the tube that we want to ligate. It's called deferens duct. And then the vessel that is just beside it, obviously, needs to be preserved.
With the tubes separated, he carefully ties off both ends before making the snip.
And that's it, that's out.
The whole procedure is then repeated on the other side, and after 45 minutes, it's job done, and Bart is returned to his box to recover.
He's very cozy. He's just a delight. He's such a healthy animal, and 2 or 3 years old. He's perfect.
It's good news for Nick and the small primates team.
We like the vets and vet nurses just to monitor him coming around from his anaesthetic and make sure he's okay and well. Once he has recovered fully, then we'll take him back to his house, and primate care staff will continue to monitor him in his little cage here for a little while, just to make sure there's no vomiting or any adverse effects. But yeah, by lunchtime he should be back to normal, and I'm sure he'll be keen to have some food.
It's been a successful morning, and Bart will soon be back with the rest of the Simpson family. Managing large groups of social, occasionally volatile animals keeps the staff at the park busy, particularly during the winter months when many of the primates choose to stay inside to avoid the cold and rain. So, when some large muddy tree stumps with roots attached had to be dug up, the capuchin team jumped at the opportunity to encourage their charges outside. And they decided to investigate if Franco's group might demonstrate behaviour displayed by wild capuchins. In their native habitat, capuchins have been known to wash their food, rinsing items covered in sand or soil in fresh water before eating them. Donna and her team are keen to see if any of Franco's group show this behaviour. They're covering a breakfast of primate pellets in mud and clay and smearing the mixture all over the tree stumps. They're also placing tubs of fresh, clean water nearby to give the group the opportunity to wash their food.
Capuchins are extremely intelligent, so it's so important to keep them busy so they don't get bored, and if they get bored, inevitably they have squabbles. So we like to try and keep them busy as much as possible. But today we've got a bit of a break in the weather, so we've decided to do something outside. And this is really different. I mean, I certainly haven't done anything like this for the capuchins before, so they're not going to be expecting it. They're probably not going to go straight to it because they don't know what it is and that there's going to be food in there. So it might take them a little bit of a while to search out the food, but it's really exciting to give them something new.
Today's experiment is made more interesting because the majority of Franco's group were born in a laboratory. The two exceptions are older females Lucy and Mary, who were wild caught in Brazil and may have experienced food washing. They're let out first.
What's in there, look? Ooh. Go and have a look then.
Donna is hoping the pair will lead the way and encourage the others.
They do have that wild instinct a little bit more, and so hopefully they might demonstrate the behaviour of washing the food a little bit more than maybe some of the younger individuals.
But Donna's scheme falls at the first hurdle. Time for Plan B. Let the rest of the group out and observe their reaction to the task. Leader Franco wastes no time heading to the water tub to investigate. But he isn't impressed. Emily manages to dig out quite a few pellets, but washing her food doesn't seem a priority. The mud-covered tree stumps soon entice a number of the group to take a look. Fiona excavates quite a few pellets, but doesn't seem at all bothered by food hygiene. Finally, one of the females shows some initiative. Frida dunks her muddy treats in the water, and soon others are following her example. Capuchins are incredibly bright, thought to be the most intelligent of all the monkey species, and great at problem solving. Emily demonstrates she's a quick learner. Felipe cleans up, giving his food a thorough rinse. Donna isn't sure if the capuchins are showing natural behaviour or just having fun.
They certainly put the pellet into the water. I think this scenario is quite difficult to tell if they were actually actively seeking out the water to wash the food, or whether the water was there and they just thought it would be fun. And some of the individuals would literally go over, put the pellet in the water and just take it out again, and didn't necessarily wash all of the mud off. But in this scenario, we had the tubs of water right next to the pellet, so it was very easy and convenient for them to do that. But I think in the future, if we maybe put the food further away from the water, then we'd be able to see if they would actually seek out the water to wash the food, or actually if they just don't care that it's dirty.
It's been an interesting exercise in capuchin behaviour. Franco's group have been kept busy, and the care team know they can expand the idea another time. But as the rain arrives, some of the capuchins head indoors, and only a few hardy stragglers remain outside, searching through the mud for any remaining food. With the days getting colder and shorter, as summer fades to autumn at the park, many of the primates are opting to spend time indoors. At the orangutan nursery, James and Jarno have come up with an idea to bring the outside in. So this bright group of 5 will stay entertained in their playroom.
So this is a homemade termite mound that we've come up with, me and Jarno, just to keep the guys busy. Today we're going to put some sweet potato in it. It's been cooked already just so that it's a bit more sticky and squishy for them to get out. And they should have a lot of fun with it, hopefully.
The puzzle has been created by inserting dog toys filled with food into holes cut into wooden boards. The entire contraption is then strung up and attached to the mesh outside the group's playroom. It's been carefully designed to encourage natural foraging behaviour.
In the wild, the orangutans would sometimes find little grubs and things like that in trees, and they'd have to really work at it to get them out. So today we've made a monkey world version, and they should really work at trying to get these out. And when they get a bit better with doing this, we'll probably go to giving them some sticks to play with it as well.
The slide to the playroom is opened, and the group wastes little time heading in to investigate. "11-year-old Silvestre likes to take the lead and is first to work out the puzzle. He's a confident and extremely inquisitive young adult who's become an excellent role model for the other youngsters in the group. Rieke secures herself a nice spot on the mesh to try and reach some of the sweet potato. But the challenge is a bit confusing. Silvestre gently moves her out of the way to show her how it's done. Being smaller has advantages, as Mimi and the youngsters demonstrate. Their little hands mean it's easier to reach through the mesh to manipulate the food. Along with the puzzle boards, Jarno and James have hung up some feeders in the playroom, so everyone has an opportunity to get their fair share of breakfast. But, true to form, food-obsessed Oisin has taken sole possession.
She certainly likes her food. Although she's lost a lot of weight, she's still very, very dominant in the way that she wants to get the food. So every so often, Silvestre now as well, being a little bit more hormonal and growing up, she will have a little bit of a squabble sometimes over Silvestre. She still certainly has the throne in the nursery and is dominant over him, but he is getting to that point where he's not far off of beating her with his strength and things like that. So again, another reason why we try and space our enrichment out in the enclosures and insides as much as possible, just to try and give some of the less dominant characters in the group a bit of a chance to get some food, really.
With so many options, no one is missing out. Bulu Mata has managed to get his fair share, and Oisin somewhat more than hers. Now, having emptied the cube feeders, she's prepared to tackle the new puzzles. Sweet potato is obviously a favourite. The youngsters get the message. It's time to leave their adoptive mum to it and head off for their favourite pastime, a fun-filled play session. In the last few months, there's been trouble brewing at Malagasy. life in the ring-tailed lemur enclosure has been far from harmonious. The males tend to get along, but pet trade female Kaiyah is a pushy character who likes to throw her weight around, and the boys finally got fed up with her. It resulted in a dispute, and Kaiyah came off worse with some very nasty injuries.
I've not seen an injury like that with any of our lemurs before. It was quite horrendous and very, very quickly created. We unfortunately didn't see it. We were gone from Malagasy for 10 minutes and that was all. And in that time, they inflicted 5 very serious wounds on her because she is a bit of a wild one, is Kaiyah, and she does test them, which may have actually been why she ended up with that horrendous injury. She does push them. And at the time, she was really pushing Sirius's buttons and really trying to wind him up quite a lot. So we think that she may have done that. He retaliated and Indiana backed his brother up, and that's how this horrific injury occurred. So we had to get the vet in, we had to do a lot of stitch-ups, we had to remove her from the troop for a considerable amount of time while she healed, because unfortunately one of the wounds that they inflicted on her, there wasn't enough skin left to stitch it back together, so she was actually left with an open wound for over a month. So we had to bring her out of Malagasy, put her into a much cleaner environment with just blankets on the floor, no straw or hay or anything like that that could have got into that wound. So it has been quite a testing time up there.
Thanks to the efforts of the vet team, Kaiyah is now recovering well in some bedrooms at the Gwenon house. Back at Malagasy, there's still tension in the air.
Give it in, guys.
Females are dominant in lemur society, and Fennel has been in charge for years. But there's still a male hierarchy below her, and with 8 of them in the troop, the fight is now on to be lead male.
For a very long time, it was Indiana as number 1 and Sirius as number 2. And that's changed, and I don't know where they are in the hierarchy, but they're certainly nowhere near the top anymore. But we actually don't know who is at the top. So we've got quite a few vying for that position. So we've got our youngest boys, Kurt and Friedrich. They're desperate to get up to the top, and they probably will make it because, again, they're twins, like Indiana and Sirius. They've got each other as backup. 2 is always better than 1. Hamal's not backing down very easily. And Renton is very good friends with Fennel, our dominant female, so he's also up there at the top. White Spot's not so much bothered, really. He kind of keeps himself out of it. And then you've also got Al, our most recent arrival, one of our ex-pet trade animals. And he's quite savvy, he's quite clever, so he's, again, trying to get up there as well. It's very confusing at the moment as to who actually has that top spot, and I don't think there is anyone at the moment.
Age may play an important factor as to who comes out on top.
All our original troop are getting older now, and the youngsters are young and fit and healthy and just a lot more probably raring to go and take on this challenge, really.
With no conflict resolution in sight, it looks like the primate care team will need to keep a careful eye on life at Malagasy. And that's even before they solve the problem of what to do about busybody Kaiyah returning home. It's round 2 of Woolly Kaplunk, the challenging feeding method the care team trialled recently with Enzo's group. This time, it's the turn of Levar's troop at the top woolly enclosure. They're getting a revised and modified version of the game, which could be a little more challenging.
We've added a few more sticks in there, we've also squished in a load of straw, so we're hoping this will actually keep them a little bit busier, challenge them a little bit more. Just be interesting to see there's different methods. They can just try and pull out all the straw and see if they can reach through some of the sticks, or if they pull the sticks out then the food will just fall out the bottom. So I suppose we'll just see which options they choose. They've all got their own little methods, so we'll just see how they enjoy them.
The primate care team are convinced they've made the game a bit trickier after Enzo's group worked out sneaky ways to get to the food without putting in the effort. The group come bounding out, although a couple of the youngsters are a little wary of the unusual feeders. Bueno Jr. is first to get stuck into the task, but he pulls out the straw rather than the sticks. He does get to the fruit, but most of it falls to the floor. It doesn't go to waste. Below him, Levar, who's older and wiser, waits for easy pickings, which don't involve concentration or hard work. There have been a few changes to the makeup of this group in recent months. Pichua, an 11-year-old female rehomed from the Netherlands, has integrated well and been readily accepted by Levar and the rest of the troop. She loves the large enclosure and uses her strength and agility to reach the feeders. Her prehensile tail serves as an anchor, freeing up her hands to pick out some peppers. There's also been another new addition. Zingu gave birth to baby Leroy just over 4 months ago. He's still reliant on being carried around by his experienced mum. However, he's interested in everything around him and brave enough to occasionally come off and explore. His sister Layla is totally independent. When she's not playing with half-sister Olivia, she's mostly off investigating the enclosure. She has a close relationship with little brother Leroy, and they clearly adore each other. Watching and learning how Mum Zingu rears him will stand her in good stead when she has babies of her own. The Kaplunk feeders have been a hit again, just not in the way the primate care team had imagined. Today, the feeding challenge has encouraged the woolies to use their minds and amazing strength like they would in the wild. A success for the woolies and the care team. Next time on Monkey Life. Stumpy Freddy's dental issue proves taxing for wildlife vet John Lewis.
The upper, well, all the canines have big roots. It might be sit up on the table job, this one.
And Ash tries out her lumberjack skills. But Rodders runs off with the spoils.